Hello, welcome. This is our May 14th meeting of the Planning Commission, and we'll start by our roll call.
All right, Stiles.
Here.
Greene.
Here.
Zaremski.
Here.
Osterholm.
Here.
Also present is Planning and Zoning Administrator Meg Leatherman, Village Manager Johnny Burns.
Okay, reviewing our agenda, is there anything to add or change? If not, we'll take the agenda as it is. And reviewing the minutes, does anyone have any changes to the minutes? They were pretty long.
Yeah, I have one correction.
Okay. What page?
Bottom of page 4,
Okay.
having to do with a comment I made about bike parking in the I forgot the name of the project. Cascades. The statement here is rather general, but I had a very specific comment, and it was specifically that Phase 4, which was 10 townhomes that are not age restricted.
I'll add in Phase 4, I think.
Yeah, specifically in that area is where there was, I thought, could use more.
Any other corrections or changes? Okay, then would someone like to move the approval with the change?
I'll move for the approval of the minutes with the change.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 The minutes are approved.
Thank you.
Do you have any communications, Judy?
As you know, I added the communications that Susan had asked be added. Those were sent to you in a second mailing, so those are under the communications, and then you have Matt Raska's thing that he sent, and that's it.
Okay. And on Matt Raska's, I don't know if this is the time to talk about it, but I mean, it was just like a one page and then to go to. I just wanted to mention that in the 5th point that he has, he talks about the problems with multiple lower income housing additions, that the problem going through planning, I guess the Planning Commission. And he has down the Oberer. Okay, now that was the 1982. Okay, then I'm wrong on that. I was going to say the most recent Oberer planning passed it, and that wasn't a issue. But he's talking about the early one in 1982. Okay. Then I don't have anything on that. Okay. Then we'll go to our committee reports.
So you were asking about the comments that got submitted. This is what you were talking about, right? For Matt Raska?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd like to make a suggestion.
Okay.
That when we get sheets like this in the packet, that they're not anonymous. I'm looking. There's no name or date or anything on the comments that got sent. At least when I printed them out.
Okay, what does say on our agenda, Matt Raska, regarding resources on...
Yeah, sure,
So-
yeah, but then the actual sheets, because if I look at them at some point later, I don't have reference, who they came from or when they were from.
Okay.
And because also, I think there's a typo, the calculational typo in them, but I won't bring it up since he's not here.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
Well, so while we're talking about this thing, you're the 5th point here. I mean, it is. I don't know whether. We need to defend ourselves, but I agree that this is saying that we're like OPEC discouraging oil production. I don't think that we've been. I think that that's mischaracterizing us. I don't know if I can have a comment or an opinion, but if I can. I think we've been trying, we're just trying to make sure that people are following the rules. I don't see us as having our thumb on the scale one way or the other.
Okay. And I think that's fine to comment about that.
yeah. Right. Things like this, I'd also prefer if they were lean more towards just being entirely factual and not, drawing in emotional arguments.
Okay.
But I would like to say one thing that I was very, very happy to see, because numerous times I made comments that they provide, Matt and whomever, provide examples of municipalities that are 1,000 times the size of Yellow Springs or 500 times the size of Yellow Springs. But here, there's actually examples of communities that are about the same size of Yellow Springs, and I think that's the first time I've seen that. So.
Okay, anything else?
If I just add, can I just?
Yes.
One, just as a reminder that I think it is appropriate to comment on if you want, and then just that we can't censor what's provided to us. So like if someone asks for somebody in the planning commission packet, we'll put it in there, even if it potentially isn't facts. So
Sure.
just to make that point, but I think it's appropriate to mention that too.
But she could, when they say they want to put something in the packet, ask them to have their name on it and the date.
Yep.
Yeah.
We could definitely do that.
Because that's sort of an easy fix for
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's move on to council and committee reports. Active transportation, do you have anything, Gary?
Nothing new.
Okay, did they meet or anything?
Yes, they did meet.
Okay.
But I actually wasn't available. Actually, the only thing the one thing from the report that came from Johnny that's worth repeating is I thought it was very enlightening and positive that over the last perhaps 8 years that Yellow Springs has gotten nearly $10 million in ODOT grants having to do with whether pedestrian and bike and all that sort of stuff. I think that's a heck of a good job that the staff has done over the years in moving towards those particular goals.
Yes. Okay. Judy, do you have anything from council?
I do. April 15th, the first reading of the ordinance adding bicycle parking occurred. And at that same meeting, Meg presented her memo on inclusionary housing, which you have included in your packet. And then at the May 6th meeting, council heard the second reading public hearing of the bike parking ordinance. It was amended at the table to remove the requirement for bike parking from ADUs. And the zoning administrator amended to include TGLs in the table, which corrected an earlier oversight, and that passed unanimously. And then council will hear an update on the low-income housing tax credit project proposal from Home Inc. at the May 20th meeting.
Do we know why they removed bicycle parking from the accessory dwelling unit, ADC?
ADUs. Because it was seen as an intrusion partly on private property, and Councilperson Brown made that point and just felt that it was something of an intrusion,
Okay.
and it did pass.
But you're saying they left it for the transient guest lodging?
Transient guest lodging I don't think it was included.
Yeah, I don't think there's a TGL
Okay.
call out in the code.
Okay, and there is no report from the housing committee since they did not meet, and they are meeting in June then, is that correct, Meg?
I believe so.
Okay. Didn't meet in
To be
April, didn't meet in May.
To be determined.
Okay. Okay, this is a time when we have citizens' comments. Anything that is not on the agenda, we have a public hearing. Anything that we're not having a public hearing on, if you'd like to make a comment on, you're welcome to come forward if you tell us your name and then your comments. And there are no comments, so we'll move on. So our first item we'll have a public hearing for is a conditional use application for the Central Business District. Jake Brummet, on behalf of International Transaction, Inc., submitted a conditional use application for the outdoor patio seating in conjunction with a permitted restaurant at 101 Corry Street. Meg, would you
All
like to
right,
talk
yeah,
about that?
thanks. Yeah, as she mentioned, conditional use at 101 Corry Street, submitted by Jake Brummet, owner of Trailtown Brewing. The owner of the building and property is actually International Transaction, Inc., and I did talk with them on the phone and have an email from them authorizing the submittal. Adjoining property owners were mailed a notice of the public hearing on April 25th. Signs were posted on the property on May 1st, and a notice was published in the Yellow Springs News on May 3rd and May 10th. I prepared a staff report outlining the applicable code and made a recommendation that was provided to the commission and on our website May 10th. And I'm just going to give an overview of it, and then we'll stand for any questions. So Trailtown Brewing opened for business in 2020 after receiving approval by the Planning Commission during a conditional use application and had a public hearing in front of them on December 10th, 2019. And it was specifically for the operation of a brewery and restaurant, and it did not include approval for the outdoor patio seating, and it was actually specifically called out that it was not included. I included a copy of that December 10th, 2019 staff report as Exhibit D in the staff packet that you have tonight, just for reference and to understand what was actually approved in that approval. And I guess unfortunate for the owner, the outdoor patio seating is actually specifically called out as a use in the zoning code as its own individual use type, and requires conditional use approval in the Planning Commission. And in the staff report, I put like an image of that so you could see. Trailtown has already been operating the outdoor patio seating as they were authorized to open it during the pandemic, the patio, to help with not transmitting the COVID and still having business open. But since the pandemic is over, a formal approval is required, and so that's why we're here tonight. So the outdoor seating area is about 943 square feet, and then just so you know, I kind of take it as it's not there, it doesn't even exist in my head when I write the staff report, and then I'm making, when I'm going over the code to you tonight, but it is exactly what is in the report is actually there right now, so nothing has changed between that and what he's asking for. So it's about 943 square feet, and it consists of 6 picnic tables. It's enclosed with a 6-foot fence, in case you didn't go by it.
It's more than a fence. I mean, it is an enclosed structure with a roof and everything.
Okay.
No.
No.
The patio, okay. So is the enclosure then already, because you have the patio.
That's a dining room.
Okay, so that is already approved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I think I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's not back where we have the band.
This is actually.
Yeah, it's back in the back where we have the bands.
Yeah.
And we've got the beer hall tables.
Okay.
And we put some shade sails up and some patio lights and railings.
Why don't we let Meg finish the staff report, and then we can...
Yeah, one problem with going back and forth like this is just that the audio might not pick up on the recording, and we're legally required to record it. And so, and besides the people, there were millions of people watching us out there on YouTube, I'm sure, but that's really not the problem. It's more just the requirement of being recorded. Anyways, their business hours for the patio are the same as the business, which is Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and then Sundays, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they're not open always on Mondays. They're kind of seasonal on their Mondays, but I just kept that in there just so we kind of generally know. He says it kind of varies depending on business, but basically summer hours will they open up on Mondays, but it's that same time frame, but not maybe the day might not be open. And I'm making a recommendation of approval since I find it to be in general similarity in character to the other businesses around it. It's surrounded by other businesses and restaurant and retail. Another business close by has outdoor patio seating as well, and it's also in compliance with the dimensional standards for the zone. Just to highlight that, since it's in the B1 zone, it doesn't require any parking, but they do provide 3 parking spaces for their employees in the front. And then I guess that's all I have. I'll stand for any questions you might have.
Any questions for Meg? Okay, then now is when, if you'd like to come forward, Jake, and just introduce yourself and anything that you'd like to say, any clarifications.
Yeah, I'm Jake Brummet. I'm one of the 3 owners of Trailtown Brewing. And when we didn't have it included in the first permits and everything because it was on a raised sand and dirt with railroad ties holding it up and just with 2-foot stepping stones as a patio, and one of the very first things the county told me was that was a no-go. They would never approve that. So we wanted to get everything else going, and then we went back afterwards and Bob counted all that stuff out, and the asphalt underneath was actually decent shape, so that's when we just, used it for the COVID time, Aaron. And I honestly didn't even remember, I didn't even think that it was conditional, I, just kind of slipped once we got going, and then when we came back to about the smoker, and that's when you were like, hey, this, I was like, oh man. But yeah, so we've had bands out there for the last 2 years, 4 or 5 nights a week, and then we have 6 tables out there that usually are pretty good, where people actually, there might be a group of 2 and a group of 4 of completely different people sitting at the same table, so it's a nice shared area, so people talk, get to know each other. And I just want to make sure everything's the way it should be, and so we can continue on.
I had a question that I noticed that in that letter from December 16th, 2019, that you were supposed to add more bicycle racks. Did you add those?
We do. We have it on the Dayton Street side. The village has a raised sidewalk part that is really not supposed to be, I don't think, part of the right-of-way because there's a big drop-off. But we had one in our parking lot. But then when we went through this last things where they put a railing up and then they bolted down a park bench, I just thought that would be the perfect spot. So we moved it back over to that side so it's on a raised thing. People can put their bikes up. And I was real happy about 3 Saturdays ago, it was real nice. And we actually had 10 bikes on there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, holy smoke, that's the most I've ever seen. So that was really good that people come right off the bike path and see it. They park and they can come in and, get some food and beer.
And the bakery opening up is going to, I'm getting more informal, but that's going to probably bring more business up there too.
Yeah.
With the Yellow Springs Bakery going to be, that's going to be
Because
exciting.
originally I was hoping that we'd be able to put like a little patio set up there like Williams Eatery had up there. But then that's when I was told that that's not part of international transactions property or mine to use. So I'm glad that, we finally figured that out and got the railing up.
Nice.
Any other questions for Jake? Anyone have any?
Just so the rules, so most of it is like either the building or a 6-foot fence. The rules on the other sides for having alcohol, you can have a low fence like that, that's fine?
I probably explain it better about the rules about alcohol.
Yeah, I went to the county with that, and the state, they've both already okayed it.
Okay.
State Liquor Board has okayed it. The county at first, when we were gonna have a gate, they wanted extra lighting on the gate, they wanted a lot, those push, like the doors on the exits there, the release things, and I was like, well, if I have the no alcohol past this point, and I have the exit signs on those, do I have to gate at all? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, that saves me a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're all good with it. As long as it's an enclosed area and it has signs up that say no alcohol past this point, they're all good for it.
Okay.
And that's consistent with some other establishments that have outdoor seating and alcohol.
Nobody else has it completely enclosed, except for maybe the Gulch's back. I don't know. I haven't been on it in a long time, so I don't know really what's back there. But, yes, like I said, the county passed it, and then I had the liquor board come back and make sure he walked through it, and he took pictures, measured it, put it in, and then we got a letter back from them saying it was all good, too.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, now we open up our public hearing. And if there's anybody who wants to comment on this conditional use application, come forward and state your name. There isn't anyone, so we'll close the public hearing. And are there any other questions for Meg? And if not, are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use. There were no conditions on it, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the application.
I'll second that.
Great, it's been moved and seconded, so Judy?
All right, Greene,
Yes?
Osterholm,
Yes.
Zaremski,
Yes.
Stiles.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been approved. Okay.
I'll write up a formal letter and send it to you and put it in the file too, so. Yeah.
Great. Okay, do we have any other old business? No? Okay, how about new business? Agenda planning.
I'm going to have a minor subdivision in July for 1214 Livermore, just so you guys know.
You said July, right, not June? Did you say July?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I did, because I was doing for June, but he's going to be out of the country, so.
So that's for July. Do you have anything for June?
Not yet, potentially an ADU, but I'm not sure if they're going to have everything complete in time, so.
So these meetings are the second Tuesday
Yes.
of the month. Okay, so June would be the 11th, and then July 9th?
It's,
8th?
if council, if the first Monday of the month is right before the planning commission would be, then you bump ahead a week. It happens twice in the year.
Can I say that again?
Okay.
If,
So we don't go back to back, council,
Okay,
planning commission,
okay.
so.
Okay. Is there a calendar that says when these are? It's
Online.
It's on, okay, I'll look there. Okay, sorry.
Okay, I guess if there is nothing else, then I move we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.